Hello there. I got a question from, well, I'm not going to tell you who it is, a person from Colorado. And this is a question about a possible scenario of demonic possession or demonic influence or just simply some demon harassing somebody. This is the question. I've been meaning to ask you about something, but have been struggling to write about it. For about the past year, my youngest has been trying to cope with mental health issues. Long story, she has hallucinations that are telling her and sometimes screaming at her to hurt herself. Most recently, the voices have been telling her to hurt others. Yesterday, during an intense episode, there was a concern of if the voices were due to demonic possession or not. Would a demon-possessed person think they were demon-possessed? Now, she's been seeing a psychologist and therapist on a weekly basis, and things sometimes appear to be improving, but will come back on medications, but none seem to work for very long. We also have many people praying. Is there anything you could suggest? All right. Now, with regards to, let me start with the psychological therapist kind of stuff and the medications. And of course, I can't give any official medical advice of any kind, but I do have personal concerns with regards to these kinds of drugs that people are taking and what they're getting on, and so I always encourage everyone to try to find a way not to take these, and if you do, to try to find a way to get off them as soon as possible, because most people don't ever take into consideration the side effects that quite often can happen through these kinds of medications. The psychos, so I call it the psychologists, the psychos, and the therapists, these kinds of people. That's what they have. That is the tool. So if you go to see one of these people, they're not going to talk about things from a spiritual perspective because that just isn't who they are. They are there in order to prescribe drugs. That's fundamentally what they do. That's what they're about, and they get paid to do that. They get a percentage off of whatever it is that you buy and what you consume from the prescription that is issued. So this is something that I would encourage anybody to get away from, especially when there are all kinds of side effects and dependencies, and there's tremendous risk, especially if circumstances in life change and you're just not able to pay for these things, you're not able to get access to these kinds of drugs and medications. Those are real issues that are going to become more popular in the coming years. They already are an issue for people right now with different kinds of medications, and I don't think that issue is going to get any better. There's a high probability that it's going to get worse. So, while I can't give any advice concerning those things, I can express my own personal opinion concerning myself, and of course I do share with other people what I would do for myself. This kind of a description, though, does give me the indication that you have a high probability of dealing with a demonic spirit. It just does. I mean, when you've got things like this happening, what's some of these descriptions again? Hallucinations. Demonic spirits do have the ability to give you hallucinations. Not all, but there are some that do. And so considering that this is something that is taking place, there's a high probability that you're dealing with a demonic spirit that is a lot more sophisticated than some of the common ones that people will encounter. That's something to perhaps keep in mind. They are telling her to hurt herself, and now it's escalated to hurt somebody else. This is something that some demonic spirits do. I've heard of a lot of examples like this, and this is unlikely something that would be coming out of her own mind. All right, it's unlikely that this would be coming out of her own brain. Okay, and so trying to address it by altering someone's physiology is, like you said, it's just not a solution. All right. And so if it's not a solution, don't continue to try it as a solution. It's just not, it may be helping for a little while, but it could be helping only because the demonic spirit decides to not participate at that time. Okay. And a demonic spirit can even just simply walk away and leave a person believing that it was a lack of drugs in their life, that's what the problem was. They don't have the right drugs that they're taking every day. So now they are. And then the demonic spirit can walk away, never cause interference anymore. And now you got some kid hooked on drugs. All right? And there can be other consequences related to that. So it appears that this demon has other objectives. That it's not just about trying to get some kid on drugs. It's about something else. Maybe we can cause some real damage and frustration in people's lives. And here's an open door. Here's an easy target in that sense. All right. So with these kinds of things that you've described, that would be the first thing I would think of, is that you're dealing with some other person. All right. And that's what a demon is. It's a person. It's a spiritual person, one who does not have a physical body like we have. It's a different person, different kind of person. And these persons have their own goals, their own objectives, their own things that they're trying to accomplish, their own ways of esteeming some sense of meaning and purpose in their lives. All right. But the solution is going to be two parts. You have people praying, and that's great. I would not want to discourage that at all. I think it's a good thing. But you may notice that it's not necessarily going to be leading towards an absolute solution. If they are going to pray, and if you're going to pray, one thing to definitely pray for, which means one thing to make an appeal to God for, is that he would send some angels to deal with this person. That's what they do. One of the things that they do. Send some angels to come and deal with this demon and create some boundaries and a perimeter so that this demon does not have access to your family, to your home, to your children. Pray and ask the Lord and continue to do so. Don't relent. Just keep doing it until the problem goes away. I certainly would add this to the list without question. Definitely. After this, the next thing is to encourage her. Encourage your daughter to stand up, to confront, and to assert her own person against this other person. All right. And that can be, a little frightening. It can be a little difficult. It can depend on a lot of things. One way that you may be able to approach this, just to provide a suggestion, is to say, now, this appears to be real, isn't it? It appears it's just not just some kind of thing going on in your head. It appears that this is really going on. Now, who is this person who's screaming at you or telling you to hurt yourself or telling you to hurt other people? This is not a good person. Whoever this person is, this is not the kind of person who you want to have in your life. You'll probably get some agreement with regards to that. In which case, you got to encourage resistance. We're going to resist this person. We're going to tell them to get lost. Tell them to get out of here. That we don't want to have anything to do with them. And don't be shy about it. Be bold and make it clear. You don't belong here. No, we're not going to listen to you. Go bother somebody else, maybe. All right? But you can approach it from this point of view of saying, this is real. It's not just some fictitious thing going on, but it is a real thing. It's a real person who is disrupting your life. Now, if there is this evil spirit that's bothering us, well, this could suggest that there's a good spirit, if there's a really bad one like this, there probably is a good one, like God. If this spirit is real, well, God is probably real too. And it just so happens, it looks like we're a part of this conflict between God and this other spirit. And we're not sure what God is doing about this right now. But what we can say is that because God has not been involved quite yet, it's helped us to see that if there's an evil spirit, there probably is a good one. It helps us to see that there probably really is a God. And we should reach out to him. We should get to know him. We should ask him to participate. We should learn a little bit more about who he is and the kinds of things he's done in the past and the struggles that he's had and what is he doing now. Let's learn about these things. Let's find out who he is and ask him to be a part of our lives and ask him to intervene. He's got some angels. We should ask him, in addition to these other people who are praying for us, why don't we ask him to send some angels to take care of this demon and get him out of our lives? And so this demon who is causing this kind of disruption in your life, a lot of demons will do this and people won't resist this way. And so they get away with it. And they cause disruptions and they cause pain and suffering in people's lives. But if you will resist in this way, then it could be something that this demonic spirit didn't quite count on. All right? Didn't anticipate. And in the coming years, this is an opportunity for your daughter and for the rest of your family to increase more, in your dependency on the Lord, and to increase more in your belief in him, and you'll trust him more when you come to the other side of this, with hope that it ends well. It could end badly for various reasons, but keep moving forward and don't just give in. Resist this spirit, stand up against it, confront it, and make it known that this spirit just doesn't have any right to be a part of your life at all, that you've decided that you're not going to have a relationship with this spirit. All right, that this spirit has decided to try and impose a relationship on you that you just don't want. And you're going to appeal to the living God and his angels to participate in getting this demonic spirit out of your lives. All right, that's what I know with regards to how to address a problem of this nature. And I hope this helps. All right, if any of you have any other questions for me of any kind, please do send them to me directly by email to aaron@aaronbudgeon.net. Thanks.